Hello. It's been a while since I've done one of these kind of videos. I've been to this area before. There's somebody that shot up the stop signs over here. I've been through this area before, but I haven't driven it. So where we're on the new layout of the Canadian National Division of the City Track in Gary, Indiana. Started from Clark Road, and we're going southeast down this spur. And we're going to take it to the river. And I'll just come down here just to check it out. I know nothing much has changed. This track hasn't been used in a number of years. So I just come down here just to check it out. Got some deer going on. But yeah, it's been a number of years since this track has been used. No Canadian National trains, no Norfolk Southern trains have come down here since like 2020. The tracks are all oxidized, rusted over. There hasn't been any kind of ballasting work. I have to be careful coming down these little lanes here. I end up messing up my calipers. Now here, I'm unsure. Yeah, I can take this little cut here. Alright, so this little fork in the road here. If we go straight to the left, I'll keep following this track to get to the Grand Calumet River. But this road to the right here will take me to the old Wabash right-of-way, which this new rail spur here replaced. It's just a few yards north of the old Wabash 4th right-of-way. So I'm going to take the road to the right just to see how far I can go. I've come this way on foot numerous times. I have plenty of videos here showing me in this area a few years ago. So I was on foot. Now this is not a part of the railroad. This is just a cut that they built to get maintenance equipment around this area. The old Wabash right-of-way is now essentially used as an access road. Wow, look at this burnt out car over here. Looks like a burnt out Jeep. Burnt out. Looks like it's been shot up with some buckshot or something. new tires on the top of it. So someone's been out here. Tell you, people are trifling. They like to say, oh, the black people doing this, man. It could be somebody black, but it also could be somebody white, because a lot of, I call them hillbillies, come out here. Be playing around back off here in these woods. So we got a troop of ducks up here, and a lot of mosquitoes. Happy that I'm driving because the mosquitoes back here are ridiculous. So this is the old Wabash 4th right-of-way. Well, actually, it was more like a, well, I'll let you know when we get up into this clearing here. Ahead of me would be the I-90 toll road. We're gonna drive across that bridge of the Grand Calumet River. Alright, so up ahead, of course, it's the I-90 toll road, and where you see that track curve off, where's my finger? Right there. The track used to come straight back up this little road where I just come from, and that was the continuation of the old Wabash 4th district. But in 2014, 2015, there was some maintenance work done, and the old wooden bridge that used to be up here was replaced with a newer bridge, and the track was obviously rerouted, as you can see, where it curves slightly to, which would be your left. It curved to the right, and that is, it goes back to North Clark Road, where I started. Gravel is really loose because it's not really that well traveled. Real slow. So now we're at the bridge at the Grand Calumet River. I've been here before plenty of times. Brought you with me on plenty of videos out this way. So that's where I just come from. Through that cut in the weeds there. Just come from there. And this is the bridge. You see, there are no trains running on this line. It's not abandoned, just not in use. That's the I-90 toll road up there. This is the Grand Calumet River. Over there is a part of the old Fort Wayne line. That's the bridge for that. As far as the railroad is concerned, I would really like a job that covers this particular area because I know it very well. They really know other places in the region that's this serene when it comes to the railroad. It's just a beautiful place. I love coming back here. Man, I spent a lot of time back here over the years. A lot of time. Back when the old wooden bridge used to be here, some of the old school people from my neighborhood of Ambridge always came back here to fish. They'll come back here and walk their dogs. And this was back when South Shore Line was still interchanging with Wabash and Norfolk and Western. Right on the other side of this toll road here, there was a siding track that went to the paper mill. And, you know, it was fairly active. I wouldn't say busy, but the railroads used to store cars back here, and the locals would break into them. They'd be stealing stuff like shoes, or radios, or whatever the case may be. And then it got to the point, with all the break-ins and thefts happening back here, they stopped storing cars back here. And before it was abandoned, it was depreciated. Still got the old telegraph poles here. There's so many thefts that they just stopped storing cars back here. And that led to the eventual, it helped lead to the eventual depreciation of, you know, this area as far as storing cars. And there were other areas back here where Norfolk and Western and Wabash stored cars back in the 60s and the 70s, but by the 80s, by the time the 80s hit, all of that type of activity was pretty much done for. Amtrak used to come here and come that way, getting away from the bridge. But man, I know so much about this area. And I love hearing or reading the old railroader stories about what they used to do back here. It's very hard to find that stuff. Now I'm going to drive over the bridge. This gravel is really, really soft. It's annoying. You can't hit it like you want to. Not in this car. With a piece of shit. Cheap compass. So I work for PTI and I spend a lot of time in a lot of rail yards now. But I really do wish that I worked for Hallcon because they come to all the Gary locations. Slow as I gotta drive, might as well walk this shit. There should be a little cut on the other side of that pillar there on your right, where I could be able to. Oh, it's a piece of graffiti over here that says, "Hopped off a train, slept on Miller Beach. Biking around, feeling hard." He didn't hop off the train here. So this little cut in the road right here, where we want to go. So that's the Gary Sanitation District there to your left. Man, I was coming back here and there was no trash back here at all. Freshly constructed, no weeds, nothing. Now it's just another garbage dump. I tell you, people ain't shit. So now we over here on the old Fort Wayne line, the Wabash 4th District and the old Pennsylvania Railroad Fort Wayne line ran adjacent to one another in this area. So we're gonna go this way to go to the two bridges that are over here. And those bridges are right in front of me. See them there? Let's check out the condition of these bridges. I say it's been a while since I've been back here. Not much has changed. check on the condition of these bridges real quick. So, Fort Wayne, Pennsylvania Railroad. Let's come down here, breaking speed records. Now, it's an overgrown pile of junk. It's still beautiful and serene back here. Like, it's wow. There's the bridge that I just came from. Basically did a U-turn. So fucking beautiful back here. Seems like people actually gone down there to that embankment there. I won't be doing that. But you could, like, jump down here off this embankment and get right up on the water. I always wondered what these little pipes are for. There's nowhere else in this region where you can get access to old infrastructure like this and get out and explore it unimpeded. So this is the second span of the bridge. You can actually drive down this. But I won't be because it's overgrown. I can't see the road. I don't have an off-road vehicle. Got a Jeep, but you know, one would think Jeep and you think off-road, but not with the compass. Water levels are kind of swollen. (2,213 tides). I wonder where they start counting. Here on this part of the bridge, there is no tracks. They were ripped up a very long time ago. If I remember correctly, there's a USGS marker on one of these embankments. On one of the other videos on this channel, I actually found it, and it's actually a database of those markers, and that marker was included in there. I can't remember where it is right now. I think it's on the other side. I go this way, you see some old track here. It keeps going into those weeds there. And I really wish these weeds weren't here. You see, they keep going off to the weeds. Just imagine Amtrak coming through here. Once upon a time, until about 92, 93, they did. So we're gonna go this way in my car. We're gonna check out that signal. That's a new feature that's on this line that was installed in 2014, 2015. Yeah. Get my little turnaround move now. Going left. Still southeast, still adjacent to the old Fort Wayne. The old Wabash should be over there. And here's the Fort Wayne. And we're gonna go to this little signal up here. There'll really be no vehicle traffic down here because all the weeds are in the road. There's signal 4435. So that's where I just come from, just for reference. That's the I-90 toll road, and then here, the signal 4435. This was installed like 2014, 2015, maybe 2016. And it was active. The lights were on. Of course, displaying a red indication on both sides. And then sometime right before COVID or after COVID, they deactivated these signals. So now there are no aspects. There's your signal infrastructure shanty here. And the signals right here. Really bad light. It'd be better to come out here in the morning. As you can see, the indicators are dark. And on this side, for traffic facing northwest, the signal number is 4436. side, it's 2435. Then straight ahead will be the South Shore tracks and 4th Avenue. Don't hold your breath about seeing any of this being activated anytime soon. I can only speculate, but with developments going on at the Greater Chicago Airport, see, all of this new stuff and work that's been halted is due to projects going on at the Greater Chicago Airport. They were the ones getting the funding from the government to upgrade their runway and move tracks around. And in those projects included crossing upgrades, railroad crossing upgrades, railroad relocations, and new infrastructure being installed, such as these signals here. With the quote-unquote goal of reopening this line, both lines, to be able to reach Kirkyard for Norfolk Southern, to be able to reach Kirkyard from the south, and for Canadian National to do the same. But because both railroads already have access to Kirkyard by other directions, this is seen as redundant. So they feel probably, there's no official word, but they feel probably that this is a redundant line and it doesn't need to be reactivated in a rush. And plus there aren't any businesses back here that utilize the railroad in that way, so these tracks could only be used for storage, really, if at all. And you know, there is no big rush to install anything. And in order for trains to get here from the Fort Wayne line, they have to install the diamond at Tolleson, which is about 3 miles in the direction that I'm looking. And that diamond, of course, is not installed. So, you know, it's nothing complex that's holding up progress. It's just, number one, they don't want to do it because they don't see any financial justification for doing so. Number two, the airport is steadily buying up property and changing the plans. So, you know, they're about to open up a new UPS facility by the airport, which is going to take up a lot of land on the old Fort Wayne right-of-way by the airport. It is, you know, there's no cohesive plan for anything. Then if somebody comes up with an idea about utilizing these tracks for, like, you know, a passenger line or something, the freight railroad say no. Because they don't want to pay for the maintenance and shit. So, you know, we're just in this limbo state. We're going to go ahead and leave this signal. There are other newer signals that were installed closer to Tolleson. As far as this section of Gary, no bones. I'm I have to look at my timetables to see what they call this area. Back in the year 2000, there was still one business back here that was operating, and that was Anderson Development. Not the Anderson company that made the windshield wipers, no. It was Anderson Development. It was a chemical distributor. It had chemicals in big tanks and whatnot, and there was still trackage that connected to that particular. There's people still back here. Now, let me stop. But, you know, those tracks were ripped up about 2018-ish. And the Anderson Development Company is right up here on the other side of the South Shore Bridge. It's a trucking, like a semi-truck headquarters. I don't know what they call it. A semi-truck terminal. That's what took the place of Anderson. Anderson was a like I said, chemical distributor. It had big flumes and smokestacks and big old tanks. The South Shore did their interchange services, picked up and dropped off cars. So did Penn Central, Conrail. And in the last years of Anderson's operation, it was CSX. And it wasn't long after CSX, you know, with the Conrail breakup or whatever, that Anderson Development closed and all railroad activity ceased on the Fort Wayne line. Like I said, CSX didn't go any farther than Anderson Development. So they didn't, after Amtrak stopped running in '93, Anderson Development was the only railroad activity on this line, and those trains did not go this far down. We're going to the South Shore Bridge now. Like I said, Anderson Development is right on the other side of it. To my right, you can't, to my left, you can't see it because of all the foliage in a way, but that's the paper mill that Wabash and Norfolk and Western service. Some African dude owns it now. So, you know, he don't allow people back there trespassing or whatever. But I've been to that place before. I got video on it. So to my right is still the Gary Sanitation District. You know, it's not nothing really to see. Just the back of the buildings, and the railroad didn't serve that place. So we're here, coming up on the South Shore Bridge here, and on the other side here on the bridge, the tracks came off, hit this main line, and this was to take traffic from Anderson out of Anderson onto some siding tracks that don't exist anymore. And on the other side of the bridge, it was inbound, where South Shore came and delivered cars to Anderson. And then down further was the CSX tracks. And that's where CSX delivered and took cars from, not down at this spot. Alright, so this is the South Shore Bridge. We're under it now. I hear a South Shore train coming, so maybe we can catch it going over this bridge. Have it back up a little bit. Let's see if we can catch them crossing. Just ran into a weed. Sounds like it's eastbound, but who knows? Here she comes. It is eastbound. And that's a Miller plug. It's going to Miller. Anyway, as I was saying, the inbound tracks are on the other side of this bridge to get to Anderson. You see that roof there on the right? That's where Anderson Development sat, the chemical company. CSX accessed the plant a little bit further down from here. We're still on the Fort Wayne line, by the way. So Anderson sat in between South Shore Bridge and that bridge up there. This is 4th Avenue and off to the side there. But there were a number of switch tracks here on the other side of the tracks that you see on the right. There's still infrastructure back here, you know, signal boxes and shit. All of that stuff is still here, and I got videos where I went to all of that stuff. But right on the other side of this 4th Avenue bridge is where all of those switching tracks started that come off the Fort Wayne. And if you look at old maps from the early 2010s, you'd be able to see where all those switching tracks were and where they used to go. I have all of that documented on this channel, so I'm happy that I was able to do that, because those tracks are gone now. Nothing left but the straight main line track that you see to your right. No more switches. No more siding tracks. No more spurs. Just a straight main line track. Coming up on an old mile marker post. Jeez, look at all this garbage back here. This is ridiculous. I don't think this mile marker got a number on it. It's just a marker. Yep. There's no marker on it. That's it. There's no marker on it. But here, look at that garbage. That pisses me the fuck off. It really does. So the locals here in the Ambridge area, they come down here to hang out, whatever. So this is why you see chairs and stuff set up, but it's just garbage everywhere. Garbage, 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 garbage. Look at this shit. Anyway, before I blow a gasket about all the garbage, this is where the switching tracks to Anderson Development. They came off the main line up there, came through here, this pile of garbage, and accessed the company on the other side of that embankment there. There were a number of switching tracks here. And then you had the main line track here, then you had the other main line track where I'm parked. All of that is gone. I don't even think I think they even took the switch stand. Everything's gone. So we're under 4th Avenue. This is where I am right now. On the Fort Wayne line, under 4th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. Come from all the way down there. Fuck. Hey. So we're gonna keep forward. Trifling ass people, man. So to your left here, where I'm about to drive up on, is the old Amtrak loading platform. Got gotta be careful up here so I don't drive off of it. Be really having a bad day then. Roll my window up. Ticks jumping in here. All of this is so overgrown. It's ridiculous. So I'm actually driving on the old Amtrak loading platform. And the Amtrak depot itself would have been to my right. Fifth Avenue would be right in front of me. So, we got a little bit of a clearing here. I'm gonna get out and show you guys where I am. So, this is the old Amtrak loading platform. I just drove from this way. And the Amtrak station would have been right in these grove of trees here. And there was a little shanty on this side of the track. This side. I'm not quite sure exactly where the shanty was at, but it was in this location. And then over here, of course, you have the old Wabash 4th District tracks. So I'm walking forward here. You can just see how tall these trees are. I don't understand. You know, why in the hell would you let these trees get so damn tall? I mean, those are 20 feet, 25 feet at least. Then you got these old ties here that probably come from the switching tracks at Anderson. And when I leave, I'm gonna be going past all these ties to hit Fifth Avenue. But anyway, that's it. They just left the tires sitting here. They've been sitting here for years. You can smell the creosote on them. I'll scrape by some more trees and then we get up out of here. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. See. Ridiculous. I got my safety vest on, so it kind of look like I'm doing something important. Fifth Avenue. And over here is the Wabash. Which I don't know the condition of, so I'm not going to drive down there. Worked up a thirst. Yeah, so I'm gonna go down this alley here if I can. Not obstructed. And this alley will take me adjacent to the Wabash 4th District tracks. Which will be right in front of me there, right on the other side of those cars. This way I can take my time. The tracks are right there. Getting overgrown. I've walked over there before on this channel, so you guys aren't really missing anything. I'm just showing you some of the cuts. It's like 2 or 3 cuts back here that we used to be able to access this alley because it's out of the way. And this alley takes you on around to, I want to say, not Garfield, Cleveland. But where we're going to the next set of new signals. So here we are, right here see the old telegraph pole in front of you. So right here in this area used to be the old Wabash office for Tolliston Yard. It was a depot, and then they removed the depot, and there was a trailer here. Of course, that's all gone. And Tolliston Yard doesn't exist anymore, but the main line still runs through. And here, actually, it's at here. In that clearing where all that gravel is, that's where the Tolliston Yard office was. And on the other side of the street there, it was a crossing shanty for the gatehouse. Right where you see that signal box at, that's where the crossing shanty, the gatehouse for these tracks here. Wait for this traffic to clear up. So this is the Wabash. And over here, these tracks here are the Fort Wayne tracks. We're going to access all of that from 9th Avenue. Ahead of me is the Gary and Western elevated line passing through here on Taft Street. Make this left here on 9th Avenue. I hate coming down this street now because one of these homeowners have this security feature where it kind of, there you go. Oh, that's annoying. I've got videos where I've been all and around here. So now we're at the old Fort Wayne crossing here, and we're gonna cut down here to this 9th Avenue section. And this road doesn't look too savory. Anyway, this is where they did all the new work. The incomplete line, the milepost marker 442. There used to be a bridge here for the Gary and Western, and they dismantled it, took it down. There's so much I want to talk about. So much I want to talk about. That's not what this video is for. And then, of course, if we go the other way, we'll be headed towards Tolliston Interlochen. you got your new quadra track. You see all of these rails are oxidized. Coming up on Tolliston interlocking now. And here, where you see all this old infrastructure, this used to be the location of Tolliston Station. It was a union station, a joint station between Pennsylvania Railroad and Michigan Central. In the 1920s, the Interstate Commerce Commission forced this station to close, and Pennsylvania Railroad had its station built at Ambridge, where we just come from, the old Amtrak, and then Michigan Central had their depot at Broadway. I've also been to that location as well. The diamond is on the other side of this interlocking there. It's not even really, I guess technically it is interlocking because you got that other quadrant for CF and E over there, so they use it. But no trains come this way because there's no diamond connecting it. And then that quadrant hasn't been used in years. That's the same quadrant that goes to the same track where I started this whole video from. It starts here. And there's no other way to go on the road other than back that way, where it takes me back towards Roosevelt Street. This is the Michigan Central line, which is known as the CSX Porter branch now. It's also used by CF and E to get to Blue Island. I've gotten a lot of practice in riding on these railroad yard tracks. Careful on these roads. They are adjacent to these tracks. You don't know what's in them, especially when they're not constantly being used by the company. So that's the Roosevelt Street crossing right in front of me. next crossing would be Taft Street. And I think this is where I'm going to stop this video.